Good evening, my amazing listeners and viewers. This is Rushika Ali with yet another review of a TED Talk by Shubhendu Sharma, who is an eco entrepreneur. And he challenges the traditional notion that forests must be distant nature reserves separate from human environments. Instead, he demonstrates how ultra-dense, biodiverse mini-forests can be grown right in urban spaces, bringing nature back into our cities. Sharma's approach is based on engineering soil, microbes, and biomass to accelerate the natural growth processes. He uses the Miyawaki method and he has successfully developed 100-year-old forests in just 10 years. His method not only restores biodiversity but also improves air quality, reduces urban heat, and creates green spaces in the most unexpected of places. Through his engaging TED Talk, Sharma shares insights on how anyone can contribute to reforestation efforts, turning backyards, abandoned lots, even small urban spaces into tiny uh, and thriving ecosystems. Join the tiny jungle movement and help make our cities greener, healthier, and more sustainable. Let's talk more about Shubhendu Sharma's TED Talk. He says that within 2 years, he was able to grow a forest in his own backyard. Of course, the biodiversity was a reward in itself. He facilitates making forests in farms, schools, homes, parks, and zoos. And he says that most of the world was a forest before human beings decided to change their own existence and came up with cities. He says, like Sao Paulo was originally a forest which was later turned into a city. The 8.4 million other species of creatures on this planet need a home as well. Uh, Shubhendu Sharma used to be an industrial engineer, and he realized that when people take from nature, they rarely give back to it. He gives the example of making a tire. He says that people would separate the natural material, which is rubber, from the rubber plant and turn it into a tire which can never really return back to its original form. But nature works in a different way. It brings elements together atom by atom, and everything that nature makes becomes a resource again. He decided then that he will work with nature rather than against nature. And he has developed 75 forests thus far in his career. He says that all we need to do is put every element in the right place and then let nature do the rest. When he starts to plant a forest, he starts by soil, touching it, even tasting it, and finds out how breathable it is. Does it need biomass so that water seeps in? Uh, it should be soft. Does it need peat or bagasse? And to add nutrition to the soil, he does not add chemicals. He says he adds microorganisms, uh, which will eat up the soil and add to the nutrients. The second thing he does is look for the native tree species. Uh, the native tree species, can be very difficult to find because, people have cut down all the indigenous plantation and maybe they have started planting the fashionable, plants and trees. So he says he needs to look at the sacred groves, the old temples, the museums, the seeds there, or even read literature and books and study paintings to find out which trees used to actually belong to that place. He says when he plants the forest, he plants the trees in layers: the shrub, the shrub tree, the tree layer, and then the canopy layer. He says we can grow fruit trees or flowering forests. We can have native wild evergreens. All we need to do is make sure that the saplings are planted close to each other, but no two plants, no two saplings of the same kind are there, so that they do not compete with each other for vertical space. He says once the soil can breathe and the tree roots can take root and bury deep into the soil, then comes the part of watering. Uh, he says that in a moist soil, the fungi microbes near the roots will make sure that the soil is healthy and the tree roots remain healthy. We need to water these man made forests for about 2 or 3 years. But once the canopy becomes dense and the sunlight does not penetrate the forest floor, then uh, the condensation in the forest environment retains moisture, and the decayed leaves add to the biomass and humus, and the forest grows bigger and thrives. He says that for these kinds of forests, no management is the best management. I hope my review was of some use to everyone, and that it shed light on Shubhendu Sharma's TED Talk. Thank you very much. This is Roshika Ali signing off.